Coolgardie is located 550 kilometres west of Western Australia's capital city of Perth. It's adjacent to Coolgardie. The Shire contains about 6,000 people and includes the cities of Kambalda East and Kambalda West. In the late 1890s, 15,000 people resided in Coolgardie and its two suburbs, Toorak to the north and Montana over the railway line to the south. Gavin Casey, Goldfield's born author, wrote, "Small though it is, Coolgardie is the greatest ghost town in Australia. Along Bailey Street today, with its occasional shop, between broken brick ruins, relics of bygone glory, it is still not difficult to realize that 60 years ago this wide street echoed the voices of crowding pedestrians, the rattle of polished silkies, and the click of fine horses, the grind of heavy drays, and the almost silent plod of loaded camel trains. A more detailed map showing the location of Coolgardie relative to Coolgardie and Kambalda. A map of the city. It's not very large. A Google view indicates that the buildings today are generally pretty small. Google reveals that an earthquake 4.5 in size occurred near Coolgardie in 1987, rated as a light earthquake. The discovery of gold in Coolgardie in 1892 led to prospectors departing from all over Australia to flock to Coolgardie. With the discovery of the new goldfield, an entire new gold rush began, with thousands flocking to the area. By 1898, it was the third largest town in the colony, with a population of 15,000, and another 10,000 in the surrounding region. At its peak, 700 mining companies based in Coolgardie were registered in London. The town also supported a wide variety of businesses and services. The value of Coolgardie to the colony of West Australia in the late 1890s was so significant that it was used as leverage to force WA to join Australian Federation. Britain and the eastern colonies threatened to create a new state around Coolgardie and the other regional goldfields such as Coolgardie if the government in Perth did not agree to hold a referendum on federation. When federation did occur in 1901, Coolgardie was the centre of a federal electorate, the division of Coolgardie. Soon after, in November 1901, Alf Morgans from the state electorate of Coolgardie was elected Premier of Western Australia. Today there's lots to see in Coolgardie, many of a historical nature. It's hard to believe that prisoners were chained to this gold tree in Coolgardie in its early days prior to the construction of a prison. Some of the earlier housing remains, adds to most of the public buildings. A sketch of Coolgardie. Some of the attractions includes the goldfields exhibition museum, which is excellent, Ward Infinity's residence, the Pharmacy Museum, one of the best collections of pharmaceutical supplies in display in Australia, and the Railway Museum. There's also the historic cemetery, State Battery, Lions Lookout over the area, famous Wycorn bottle collection, and Ben Pryor's Park. The Bottle Museum is substantial. A popular attraction outside town is a tour of the State Battery. It's the only fully operational battery in the state and allows tours. You can see gold being extracted and pulled into bullion bars. The building was erected in 1902 and has been registered with the National Estate as a representative industrial building still in use. Looking around the town, there's still a frontier image. There's an operational camel farm providing rides, or you can hire camels for a trek through the outback. And the plaques are interesting. For instance, the ruins of the old Marble Bar Hotel, 1897. This is all that is left of the Marble Bar's reputation was such that it found a place in the memory of nearly every pioneer resident of Coolgardie. The reasons for its popularity were numerous. It supplied good cheap meals. The owners were always prepared to give a free meal to a prospector down on his luck. Everyone was made to feel welcome, irrespective of whether he was well-dressed or in dirty clothes. The sparkling ginger beer dispensed at the Marble Bar was a heady drink, believed to be associated with the fact that almost next door was a hotel. The importance of Coolgardie was such that it even raided postal stamps. Here's one cancelled with Coolgardie. The past lives on today in the Stars public building. Remnants of the past abound. A Coolgardie safe. It's not a safe, it's really a refrigerator, provided as cooling by evaporating water from a hessian cloth on the sides. There's a lot of characters, old prospectors, old timers, and indigenous people in Coolgardie. A Coolgardie prospector pans and then crushes the ore in a dolly. Panning for gold. Local residents. A modern-day miner relaxes. There's still gold to be found, and some prospectors make their living on the side by hunting for gold with metal detectors. These backyard prospectors don't make a lot of money, but they do live very cheaply. Occasionally in primitive conditions, without the modern amenities that we're used to. An elder relaxes in the sun with his spear. Coolgardie's got lots of historical plaques, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, about the Coolgardie Cemetery. Many people died in the early days from typhoid and were buried in unmarked graves. There's also a number of very famous Australian explorers buried here. There's a lot of people who died young, kids in their infancy, or only a few years old, or people who died in accidents down in the mines, or on the woodline railways.